This presentation is regarding a planning application for the property located at 850 Grand Pré Road, Wallbrook. My name is Alice Jacob and I'm a planner with the County of Kings. The purpose of the presentation is to inform the public about the application and to explain the planning policies that enable the application to occur and to also receive preliminary feedback. The application is still in its early stages, so no opinions have been formed on the application and no decisions have been made yet. The red circle on the map is the approximate location of the property within Wallbrook. The application seeks to amend an existing development agreement registered on the property. A development agreement is a legal contract between the municipality and the property owner, outlining the uses and specific conditions the property owners are subject to. The agreement is tied to the property, meaning any future owners would also be bound by its terms. So the property owner entered into the development agreement in 2022. The DA permits up to 10 tourist accommodations on the property and also permits the underlying uses within the zone. The property owner now seeks to amend the permitted uses section of the DA to enable the development of additional tourist accommodations. Any amendment to this section is considered a substantive amendment, and substantive amendments are required to undergo a planning process. This is the process the application will undergo before Council makes a final decision. We received the application in June, and a public information meeting was held on September 4th at the Horton Community Center. Staff are currently reviewing the application and will prepare a report with a recommendation. The report will be presented to the Planning Advisory Committee, and the committee may forward it to Council for initial consideration. Council may then schedule a public hearing. Properties within 500 feet will be notified of the public hearing. After the hearing, the application will go back to Council for final consideration, followed by a 14-day appeal period. And this is the subject property. Access to the subject property, as we can see here, is from Grand Pré Road. The majority of the property is wooded, and this is the currently developed portion of the property, which is developed with four tourist accommodations, including 3 glamping domes and a cottage. A 5th accommodation is currently under construction. The property also has a dwelling where the owner resides. With regard to neighboring uses, majority of the surrounding properties are undeveloped, and the properties along Grand Pré Road include residential development. The proposed amendment to the existing development agreement seeks to facilitate the development of additional tourist accommodations and camping sites on the property, as well as the ability to host events. Currently, the land use bylaw permits the property owner to hold up to 1 event per year as of right. However, the owner wishes to host more events, which would have to be enabled through the development agreement. Moving on to some photographs. This is the neighboring property across the road, which is developed with a residential dwelling. And a view of Grand Pré Road, through which the property is currently accessed. This shows the end of Grand Pré Road and a view of the undeveloped properties to the south. And a view of the driveway leading to the developed portion of the property. And the views of the existing development. So the 2 glamping domes here, and there's a dwelling here. The applicant is proposing to convert the existing dwelling into a tourist accommodation and to develop a new dwelling closer to the axis. And this is the cottage, the existing cottage on the property. And we have the third glamping dome here and the other accommodation that is currently under construction. And this is a proposed area for the camping sites. This map shows the zoning of the area. The property is currently located within the resource zone, which is within the resource designation. The zone permits tourist commercial uses. However, the use is limited to a maximum of 2 cabins accessory to a dwelling. As the proposal involves more than 2 cabins, it can only be considered through a development agreement. And for council to consider a development agreement, it has to be enabled by a policy within the municipal planning strategy. Policy 2.5.13 of the strategy enables council to consider proposals for visitor-oriented developments that are not permitted as of right in the resource designation through a development agreement. So these are the key aspects that the policy requires us to review. So is the proposal oriented to visitors? Does the property have an appropriate lot area to accommodate the proposed use, required structures and infrastructure? Are the site facilities adequately buffered or separated from surrounding dwellings? Does it meet the general criteria? And this is the general criteria, which requires us to look into various aspects, such as the proposal's consistency with the municipal planning strategy, the compatibility with surrounding uses, financial impacts, adequacy of fire protection services, adequacy of sewer and water services, and various other aspects. So most of these will be reviewed by us, the municipality, but there are a few that are not within our jurisdiction, and we would reach out to relevant departments for their feedback. So, as mentioned earlier, following our review of the application, staff will prepare a report with a recommendation which will inform council's final decision. And that concludes the presentation. If there are any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me at 902-690-6276 or by email at ajacob@countyofkings.ca. Thank you.